webinar. My name is Acheng Butler. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at ALU, and we're really excited to be chatting with you this afternoon.
And I'm Gaidi Farash. I'm the Dean of Faculty and Academic Affairs at our Kigali campus.
So today we're going to be chatting about global challenges, which is an We're excited to be chatting about global challenges because this is an exciting degree program that we have running in ALU at our ALU Rwanda campus. It's a 3.5-year program that combines real-world job skills with a unique learning and expertise on some of the real and pressing challenges that face Africa and the globe at large. So to start us off, when we think about global challenges, many people might wonder, what are these global challenges and what inspired this program? Global challenges as a degree was actually inspired by the reality of what global challenges and opportunities exist in Africa, but also in the world. When we talk about the 7 challenges, we're referring to these specific challenges: urbanization, education, healthcare, infrastructure, climate change, governance, and job creation. And when you hear about those challenges, we know that those are realities that we are faced with on the continent of Africa. And with our population increasingly growing over the years and such a large youthful population, those are challenges that we have to address and put solutions in place for to be able to cater for our growth over the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years, and so on. When we talk about the 7 opportunities under which the Global Challenges degree is anchored, these 7 opportunities are really the areas where we have so much potential, or we have such a well-prepared context from which to thrive if we build a program to harness the size of the opportunity. So for example, when you think about agriculture, when you think about natural resources, Africa is so full of natural resources and how we manage those. When you think about wildlife conservation, think about regional integration. We now have lots of economic blocks coming together. How do we integrate to really harness the power of Africa as a continent, to harness the power of our regions? Arts, design, and culture. The creative economy today in many parts of Africa is exploding. It's exciting to see all the creativity coming through, whether it's music, fashion, dance, etc. So how do we harness the power of arts and culture and design? The 6th one is tourism. 6th opportunity is tourism. And lastly, women, the empowerment of women, with half the continent made up of women, and the role that women play within the community and in the economy at large. How do we harness the power of women? So when we think about global challenges as a degree, we see it not just as one degree, but really a program that offers infinite degrees. By virtue of the 7 opportunities and the 7 challenges, you can pick a mission that you're passionate about and literally develop a program, a thesis around this mission that you're passionate about, anchored on the challenges, one of the challenges or one of the opportunities. So I'm sure you want to know, how on earth do we do this? So I'm going to ask Gaidi to give us a little bit of insight on that.
Sure thing. Thank you, Acheng. So all of our students across campuses, regardless of your major or program selection, start in the first year doing Leadership Core. There's a lot of information on the website. We're not going to go into too much detail, but basically it's 4 foundational courses that we offer here, which are entrepreneurial leadership, communicating for impact, projects, and data and decisions. And these are kind of foundational job readiness as well as soft skill courses that prepare you to go out in the workforce, but also prepare you for the Global Challenges degree. When you enter in your degree program in the 2nd year, we like to think about it as a program in which you gain autonomy as you move through the system. So it begins very structured and it becomes less structured, allowing you to pursue whichever mission or challenge that you decided to take on as you move through the program. So in your 2nd year, you really focus on understanding the context of the challenge. Why are these particular challenges so present in the African continent? What is the political space, the economic space in which these challenges emerge? And you can start thinking about solutions. At the same time, we focus on research methodologies. So this is when you begin to do the research, but also learn various research skills. So it could be doing journal research, going out interviewing experts, doing participant observation with local community organizations who are focusing on this issue. This is a chance for you to kind of go out in the community and really get your hands dirty working with local partners. By the end of the second year, we hope that you have kind of discovered your passion, or at least a strong leaning, and you declare your mission and draft a mission manifesto. From there, you move into your third year, which is really about problem solving, exploring what's already been done in the field, what are some other solutions people proposed, looking at what has worked, what hasn't worked, and continuing to do the skills building around your different research methodologies, et cetera. And so the third year is really focusing on the problem solving aspect of it and revising your mission manifesto to begin to talk about what you see as a potential solution to that challenge. And then you'll go into your last year, which is just a half a year. So fourth year is only 1/2 year. And that's where you focus on your capstone project. And your capstone project is a chance for you to bring everything together that you've learned, all the experiences that you've had, the various pieces of work that you've done up to this point. You put them together in a portfolio along with your final proposal of what your solution to your particular challenge is. So that's the general map. You will have structured courses. You'll have workshops and seminars from visiting faculty, from experts in the field who come in and workshop with our students, as well as opportunities to kind of go out and design part of your program on your own, where you say, I think I'm going to take this particular online course to supplement what I've been reading. I'm going to attend this particular conference, which is relevant to my field or my mission. And I'm going to be mentored by these particular experts in the field that I was able to find when I went out and kind of did my initial research. So there's a chance for you to design some of your learning outcomes, while at the same time going through a very structured program, which teaches you the methods and the design skills that you will need to come up with a valid and viable solution to your particular challenge.
You know, I find it so interesting, Gaidi. If I think about global challenges, at the end of it, what we'll get is very smart generalists, you know, reformers, builders, entrepreneurs, and leaders. We're really clear that this kind of program, in the way that it's structured and with the kind of challenges and opportunities, you actually end up being somebody who is a problem solver, a game changer, as opposed to specialists. And so, you know, I'm sure some of you might be wondering, you know, what if you study for a couple of years, or you're in another institution and you now want to come into ALU and study global challenges? Do we have some kind of policy or process that requires us to restart? You know, what is the thinking around how you join if you've been in another institution, or if you've been in another degree within the institution and you want to change to global challenges?
Excellent question. So there's two parts to that. First, there are students who are within our system who are either in Mauritius or in our scale-up programs, for instance, in Nairobi, who have participated in our leadership corps. They would not have to repeat the leadership corps. If there are students in our institution who maybe want to change majors, we would kind of look case by case on what course material they've already covered. If someone's coming from an outside institution, generally we would ask them to start with the leadership course. So they would have to start at the beginning. Although there are some places where we can make exceptions to some of the later content. For instance, a student who did a year or two in a business program and already covered the fundamentals of financial management, for instance, we wouldn't make them repeat those particular modules. So we do have some leeway to give students credit for some of the work they've done in other institutions, but they should not expect to get credit for everything they've done, because we have a very unique program and we recognize that.
And thinking about the Rwanda campus, we've talked about the course duration being 3.5 years.
Yes.
Is this program something that, for now, we know that it's happening in the Rwanda campus? If we have students who want to transfer, let's say, from Mauritius to do global challenges, presumably those same policies or guidelines around transfer would apply?
Yes, yes. And if it's a student in our system, we can sit down with them and kind of make an assessment on the work that they've done so far and give them a realistic idea of what they will actually get credit for before they transfer.
Now,
I was going to say, I think it's an excellent point you brought up about how we focus on problem solvers and not necessarily specialists. We recognize the value of specialists in creating a lot of the solutions to our grand challenges, but we're really about creating interdisciplinary problem solvers as well as leaders. We're trying to create leaders who know how to manage teams and go out and find the particular specialists they need to address whatever challenge they focused on. And we leave it up to other institutions to build those specialists.
There are some queries around what are the guidelines or what are the requirements for enrolling for global challenges. Now, if you go to our website, which is www.alueducation.com, we actually give a full detailed criteria for what is required for global challenges. The criteria for applying isn't any different from the criteria for our other degree programs. So please don't hesitate to go to our website or contact our admissions team if you need more information on the specific criteria for actually applying for the global challenges degree.
Okay, yeah. And I see we've got some questions coming in. One of the questions is, if a student enrolls and they already have their own venture, can that be molded through global challenges to fit their capstone project? It's hard to answer that without knowing specifically what the venture is, but in general, it's possible. We would determine those on a case-by-case basis as long as the venture somehow applied a solution to an existing challenge or opportunity facing the African continent right now. There are a lot of ventures that, say, for instance, a student sold T-shirts. While that might be a good revenue generator, it's not necessarily that solves an imminent problem that we have in the continent or globally. So that might be a difficult one to say, well, yeah, this can be your global challenges project. But another student might have developed a new way to purify water or to generate electricity or distribute solar electricity. And these are projects that very much would fall in line with what we're trying to do with global challenges.
Yeah, the key thing is to think about the social impact, which is why we emphasize the mission aspect. What is the social impact of the mission that you choose? And if you think about the challenges and the opportunities, usually for you to have that impact, because these are real challenges that happen, ideally you want to link them to the 7 challenges or the 7 opportunities. And you also want to be able to demonstrate the kind of impact that you're having on your community in terms of changing lives, in terms of changing society, in terms of changing how people, the economy of the community within which you're operating. So and you will be guided through that process once you get into the second year of your program, when you actually kick off the work around the mission and the global challenges specific program itself.
Okay, I see we have another question. Someone wants to know, isn't tourism more of a problem than a benefit? I guess this is one which is still highly contested in a lot of different countries. The reality is tourism is a major earner for a lot of economies across Africa, particularly in Southern and Eastern Africa. And the reality is it's a problem if we don't control those industries and control those resources. It's no different than the extractive resources and minerals and petroleum, et cetera. If we're not controlling those resources, then they can be problematic. But what we need are leaders in the industry, leaders in business who can go out, set good policies, set economic policies for their respective countries, but also create companies that can take advantage of these resources in these sectors in these various countries so that they aren't problematic.
Absolutely. In fact, just on that tourism one, oftentimes it depends on how you look at tourism. Tourism might not necessarily just be about wildlife. It might be about cultural tourism. It might be about agricultural tourism. So the opportunity when we say building these leaders is also the ability to be a visionary, to see beyond the current context of how things are defined and see the opportunity beyond the current context. So if you think about tourism today, we see it or have defined it in the context of opportunity because we haven't fully harnessed the power of what we could do with tourism. Africa has such a rich heritage, whether it's cultural or otherwise, like Gaidi has talked about. How are we harnessing the power of that? The leaders like yourselves who would take this kind of program would be expected to be visionary and progressive and see beyond what is happening today and see how we can create stronger economies or industries out of some of these opportunities that exist.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because the reality is we want our students to see every problem as a potential opportunity.
Absolutely.
And that's the point of saying that we're creating problem solvers, and that is our challenge to you all.
And we see another question coming in around how Global Challenges equips you with the relevant skills for post-graduation jobs. And this is a great one. And you'll recall Gaidi alluded to the Leadership Core, which is our foundational program. And we pride ourselves on the fact that with the Leadership Core, which is the first program that the first course that you do within the first year, we're giving you or developing your skills. But we don't say just skills. We talk about 21st century skills that enable you to work within the workplace. So if you think about skills like leading self, leading others, entrepreneurial thinking, critical reasoning, problem solving, communicating for impact. Those are 7 meta skills that we use, or that we've articulated to anchor your leadership program. And the way that it's taught, it's not delivered theoretically, it's delivered practically. So you have projects, not theoretical projects, but real projects that organizations, companies, corporates come to us with, where they say, we have this problem in our business. This is our problem statement. Can you help us resolve it? Can you help us find a solution? Can you help us fix it? What's the strategy? And so this real life project becomes, or issue becomes a project that our students take on in groups, in teams, in peer groups, and they actually do all the research around the context, the market, the background. They do all the research around the problem itself and what the opportunity, what the solution could be to address this problem. And they interact with the client or the corporate throughout this process. And it culminates with them actually then presenting a tangible solution to this corporate. And it's been very exciting to actually see some of our students present this and actually see these corporate organizations take on these strategies, right, and the whole sort of solution that our students have provided, and actually implement it as it is, because it's so robust and well thought through. So to the question around, are we giving you the skills for post-graduation? Absolutely, because these are real 21st century skills.
Yeah, and along with the skills, we give you a network, right? Because the reality is we expect students in our programs to get out there and engage with the real world throughout their entire program at ALU. So you're gonna have opportunities for internships, opportunities to work with other client partners. And so you're gonna build a network so that by the time that you get to graduation, hopefully you will have a network to rely on that you can reach out to and have relationships to help prepare you to find the job that you want if you're not creating your own, which is eventually what we hope all of our students do, to be job creators.
Absolutely.
So we have a couple other questions. Can I address a problem outside the problems mentioned? Yeah, we do have some flexibility around how people address challenges, although the reason these are kind of called the grand challenges, because, and there's a lot of research that's been done around this, we didn't make up these by ourselves, but most of the biggest problems impacting the continent and the globe right now fall within one of these major buckets. If someone comes with a valid problem that also has real impact in our communities, then certainly we would be open to them coming up with a solution to that problem. We don't want to leave problems unsolved just because they don't fall on our particular list right now. So yes, we're very open to that. We do want those problems to be things that are impactful though, meaning they can't just impact a small neighborhood or a particular household, but they have to be things that if we scaled up a solution, it would have a broader impact across communities.
Yeah. So here's one thought that's running through my mind. You could, for example, say you're very interested and passionate about technology.
Yes.
And you're wondering, why isn't technology on the list? Now, the reality is, with the world that we're living in today and where it's going, technology is transcending everything. So you may want to address or find a solution to a problem in healthcare or with wildlife conservation and use technology as part of finding the solution or as the anchor for the solution. So there may be some areas where it doesn't seem to be directly related to these grand challenges, but can certainly be linked to these grand challenges in a way that provides a real impactful solution for your community or the society within which you live.
Right. No, excellent point. These are really guidelines to get our students thinking about how they can be problem solvers, but we're not trying to narrow anybody or to get them to think in narrow buckets. We want people to be interdisciplinary. And if you can solve a problem that impacts urbanization and healthcare, then please, combine those two and go forward with it. We've got a couple other questions that are kind of just structural. The course duration is 3.5 years, which includes the first year of Leadership Core. And the question about whether or not we're offered on both campuses, currently ALU is in Mauritius and Rwanda, but Global Challenges is only offered at our Rwanda campus for the time being. We hope in the future to be able to offer it at multiple campuses, but for students who are enrolling now or expect to come within the next year or two, Rwanda is the campus for Global Challenges. And the other question is ALU the first university to offer Global Challenges? We are proud to be the first university on the African continent to offer Global Challenges, but we are not the first university to offer it. And that's an important point to raise. We don't want people to think we're making something up. Global challenges is a very real thing. In fact, I just came back from a conference in Sweden that was sponsored by the Global Challenges Foundation, completely unaffiliated with us, but there were hundreds of people in attendance who addressed the problems of global challenges in their respective communities all over the globe.
Yeah, I think with global challenges, I think it's really a showcase or an indication of our approach, which is really around innovating to create impact, or innovating to be able to equip ourselves for the future in terms of changing the continent, transforming the continent. So global challenges, it's innovative. On the continent, we're the first, but it's also an expression of how different, how different we are, how unconventional we can be in actually trying to find solutions or building these problem solvers who will be creating solutions for the problems that we have today and as we go into the future.
Okay, another good question. Will I be able to attend graduate school with the Global Challenges degree, and is the degree accredited? Yes. ALU is fully accredited. The Kigali campus is fully accredited by the Rwandan government, by their Higher Education Council. The Global Challenges is a fully accredited degree program in which you will graduate with a Bachelor of Honors in Global Challenges. And more to the point, you'll graduate with a full portfolio of work that you can showcase, which will actually help you get into graduate school, because you'll be doing graduate level research and work by the time you finish the degree.
So there's an interesting question here around how much self-directed learning we'll be doing. And there's been lots of discussions around the definition of self-directed learning. I know, Gaidi, you've been working on just kind of defining this. It would be great if you could share how we are defining self-directed learning.
Sure. Well, to be honest, the degree of self-directed learning that a student gets to do in our program actually depends on that individual student and how disciplined and responsible they are. The way the program is structured, students can gain more autonomy as they move through the system. By autonomy, we mean you have more and more opportunities to do independent work and independent research as you progress through the program and address your particular challenge. But students who show that they might need a little bit more structure, that structure is there, right? If students are struggling to define their missions or to figure out their pathways, we have structure to help them get to that place. Students will always be enrolled in classes. When you are enrolled in classes, there's mandatory attendance. So it's not a place where people can just kind of come and do their own thing. It is very structured and very rigorous. And we want students who come to be serious about addressing global challenges and serious about learning to be design thinkers, learning to be human-centered thinkers, and learning to really be impactful problem solvers.
Absolutely. So that'll require a lot of self-discipline. So, it's not high school, it's uni, but you get a lot of support to help guide you as you go through that. It's just that the critical thing is self-discipline. We've got to, the work needs to get done. You need to show up in class and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So we'd love to know if there are any last questions that any of you that have joined the webinar would have. If not, with any further inquiries on this program, you can reach us at admissions@alueducation.com. Any questions, any concerns? There have been some inquiries around scholarships. We have full scholarship information on our website. If you go to www.alueducation.com, we have a number of scholarships for students that will be coming in within this coming year, within the cycle beginning this September. So don't hesitate to go to our website and read up on the scholarships. We have what we're calling the Mandela Centennial Scholarship. We have a number of conservation scholarships also available. So reach out to us for more information. Admissions@alueducation.com.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. It's been great catching up with you. Bye-bye.
Bye.